pursuant to pursuant to chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, this meeting will be conducted in person and as a courtesy via remote means in accordance with applicable law. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public and board members, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if tech problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless required by law. Viewers can visit www.pac-tv.org/Duxbury to watch a video of this meeting on demand. Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you.
Rainey is going to be coming along with the first draft of all the articles for town meeting. But what I will do is I'm gonna kick item 4 on the agenda up to item 1 while we're waiting for that. And we can look at some reserve fund transfer requests that Mary has brought for us to put forward. So.
Is she gonna be able to join us tonight?
No, Mary is not gonna be here, but I can see Christina. Happy New Year, Christina. Christina. Oh my God, Christina.
Oh, so good.
She probably just ran to the. Christina. Well, I'll keep yelling her name until she comes back. All right.
We have 3 reserve fund transfers.
Yes, we have 3. Do you all have copies of that? I have it here in,
Yes.
would you like this? Thank you. No worries. All right, perfect. All right, kids. We'll just do this in order of worship here. I have an extra one. Matt, do you want it or no?
Sure, if you have something.
I do.
What is it? Yeah.
Here you go, kiddo. Makes it easier to follow.
Yeah.
There you go.
You done it for me.
Oh, good. Christina? Oh, I think she's probably logged out and is logging back in. Linda, have you talked to Christina? Did you? No?
I have not spoken to Christina, no.
All right, great. Cool. All right, so we have right now,
Only one of them's hers, right? Oh, she's got 2 of them.
there's 3.
Yeah, but
So-
she's got 2.
Pardon me?
Mark Cloud is the other one.
There's, there's, one for the library, there's, one for the water and sewer group, and there's one for the pool. So
You wanna start with the,
why don't we start with the water and sewer? I think as you can recall, back in the fall, there was some issues with, the shared septic that, brought to light the fact that they need to have a generator that they can use in case there is a concern in the system, a failure in the system, a repair in the system, and it allows them to pump out the system. I think I don't really need to go into any detail as to why that would be important. And in order to get that, Mary had mentioned it to me before the holiday, but she wanted them to get 3 bids, which they sent out for 3 bids. They've gotten 2 back. They have satisfied the request and the need for getting the bids. They're still pursuing the 3rd bid, but with 2 of them here, we can go forward. The amount requested is $24,757.36.
you want the motion?
Yeah,
Do we,
it's a portable generator.
yeah, right. Do we have a sense for, has this been an issue periodically? Is this the first time it's really come to light?
Well,
These,
March
systems-
was supposed to
These
be,
systems have been in there for several years.
several, as in 25.
Yeah, I was gonna say, a long time.
So
So
the
only-
fact
it's only
that they're
come to light
now having some problems is probably not that surprising. I
So is
think,
it a function of the age?
it's an age, and I think it's, brings to light something that is becoming a reoccurring theme on deferred maintenance.
So,
That, we think, I mean, the joke is we still call it the new police station. No, it's not. or the new library, or the new whatever, and, you know, things need work 10, 15, 20 years in.
So
What,
I think Fran brings up a good point. Let's say we've gone 25 years without this. And what they did, because they didn't have this generator, is they had a company come in and pump it on a daily
Right,
basis.
right.
So what was that cost versus
A
the
lot
cost?
no, this is to pump the sewer during a power failure.
Right, and they had to bring somebody in to do that manually, they had to come in.
Oh, so I'm
They
sure
have-
this is cheaper. Mark, are you here? Christina?
They had a mechanical failure.
Yes. Mark, are you
and
here?
During that period,
There's two people on the
Christina
phone.
Knowles is here.
Yeah, Christina. Christine, are you guys, or Mark?
Turned it on and then they went out. Sort of like
Okay,
working from home.
yes. Christina?
She's not there.
No, you know what? Give her a buzz, because this happened last time and she had trouble with her computer. And she could hear us, but we couldn't hear her. Yeah. What it says here is the portable generator is critical to pump sewer during a power failure to prevent overflows to the environment. This equipment services, WWTP, which is one of the systems.
All right.
Bluefish
No,
and
the
stuff,
answer is in the
sewer
third,
to lift.
the answer is in the third sentence.
I would,
Yes, it is.
I would have preferred to repair the heavy duty old style generator that we spent much more for the unit, is more difficult to repair, so this is to replace the existing generator.
Yes.
It's
that's what you
not
need,
worth fixing anymore.
right?
All right, I'm done,
Okay.
I got my question answered. If
Okay.
you wanna ask any more, RJ?
No, but I think that you're gonna see this as a reoccurring theme, with, several of the departments that deferred
Eric,
maintenance
did that answer your
and,
question?
or
I
lack
would
thereof.
agree.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Has been, you know, is something that we really need to pay attention to. So, on that note, can I have a motion so that they can
We're
get?
still reading.
Pardon me?
Give
What?
him a minute.
So this'll service both of the units, both of the,
Yes, it's portable, can go anywhere they need
Okay,
it.
so Christina can hear us. She tried to join on the phone and that isn't working.
I'm going to call you and we'll put her on speaker.
yeah,
Did you want to add to this? I'm trying to get the reserve transfer for the portable generator for the water department.
Yeah.
Mark's not
We're
on.
on board.
Hold on just a second while
Okay, Christina, hang in there because we're gonna be talking about yours next, all right? Okay, great. All right, so let me have a motion for the portable generator.
move to approve the purchase of a portable generator in the amount of $24,757.36 to be taken from the reserve fund.
Second,
Okay. And all those, we're gonna do a roll call because we've got some people on camera here, so take off your mute.
JRI.
JRI, friend,
aye.
Betsy, I,
Kathleen, aye.
Sean,
Can I just ask a question about any type of warranty that's included in both of these estimates, and if there's a length of time that one generator could be covered under warranty versus another, or if they're similar?
Christina, do you have any idea?
I don't, I believe Mark went out to get the estimates for these.
Yeah, he did. I do not have the estimates here. Since the order hasn't been placed, I would, you know, there only are about 3 or 4 of these different vendors that exist, so I'm thinking, Brady might know, but I'm thinking that the warranty is probably pretty similar.
Yeah, it would be.
I'm sure we use Celtra generator, you know, for our primary, and not sure who the other two work through, but they're usually pretty standard.
Yeah, yeah, this is East Coast, South Shore, and then FM, but it didn't respond yet. So,
So I did the direct, account rep at Celtra generator, we can contact her first thing in the morning and find out what the warranty requirements are on that, but I would assume that, you know, from a standard base, they're probably all gonna be equivalent. We
okay,
do have like a current maintenance program that we do for most of our generators in town with Celtra generator. So I can get that answer kind of right away on that one.
yeah, I'm looking at the actual bids here, and there isn't any detail on that, but I would think it's the same. Sean, are you okay with voting for it, without that information?
Yeah, I'm fine voting for it. I just think it's something that we should keep in mind if there is a difference between those two.
Right, so we'll have Christina and Mark, check into that and make sure that that's something that's a push, all right?
Great.
Al, you there?
Come up, mute out.
Al, we can't hear you, bud. Al? Al? Can you call, can some, hi, how are you? Nat?
Well, we have a
yes,
forum
you
without.
wanna-
We have a forum without.
Yes, all right, so this is about, getting a portable generator for the, yep, okay, so yes?
Yes.
Okay, so, Al, we can't hear you if you can hear us. So here we go, 1, 2, 3.
Or put your vote in the chat.
3, 4,
6 yes.
5, yeah, 6 yes, 6 yes, and 1 abstain for now, okay? There we go. All right, yes to the generator.
Al just voted yes in the chat.
Oh, we did? Thank you.
Thank you,
Seven. Thanks, Sean. All right, yeah, Sean, you're in charge of the chat. The next one is, we have some repairs and maintenance for. Oh, yeah, this is for the door
At the library.
at the library. Christina, you want to speak to this?
Sure, so the request is for $8,010 for the handicap doors at the library, so the handicap doors in the last couple months of the library, we've been having issues with, and we've been making adjustments, internally with our staff. We're now at the point that the doors are, grinding and they're leaking oil, and they open or close from the, mechanism at the top. In addition to that, the handicap button that allows for access is intermittent at best. And so Denise says sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. We had a company come in so Dormacaba is the company that we generally use for the access doors in town. They came in and looked at it, and, basically said at this point, it's time to replace the button and the mechanism, due to the fact that continuing to repair it is just gonna continue to increase our costs. So this is for, a new door operating mechanism and a new button, and that is an active quote that we received from Dormacaba for this.
Yeah, and I can attest that that's been going on for more than a few months, Christina, because I had the front, one of the people in the front is the door was grinding away.
Yeah, so like when you push that button and it opens, it grinds.
Yeah, how do we keep our precious little ones from banging on that button? That's what.
Yeah, well, and that's the challenge, right? Some
Yeah.
of these things that we see, that's
It's a toy.
exactly what we have.
It's a joy, okay.
Okay, well, good to know. So, may I have a motion, please?
Move to approve $8,010 to replace the,
Mechanism.
mechanism and door in the library from the reserve fund.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, and we start over there. Nathaniel?
Aye.
All right. Friend?
Aye.
JR?
I,
Betsy? Aye.
Kathleen, aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Al? Is Al saying yes? Okay, great. 700. Perfect, thank you. All right, and number 3 is. Which one is this?
This is the one that is.
Six.
Oh, that's, no.
Oh, this one is, yes, Christina. Explain this to me so that I'm not horrified.
The fire panel.
That this is a fire panel at the pool that wasn't working or it wasn't there, or what are we doing?
No, just so everybody's not in full blown panic mode, the life safety system at the pool still alerts locally, right?
Okay,
However, we have all of our fire panels in town alert locally, and they also alert to our life safety contractor. is not working from a trouble standpoint. So it will still operate, however, it is in a trouble status all the time. So it's constantly beeping and it always needs to be reset each day. So the soldered connections on the inside of the panel usually can perform some sort of maintenance on those that like safety contractors do. The connections, to put it in an unpolitical fashion, are junk. You can't solder them anymore.
Well, it's also a pretty hostile environment.
Right, so the moisture, the chlorinated air, it doesn't help with those connections in general. So that panel essentially needs to be replaced. And the $6,498 request is for a full notifier replacement. So it'll basically take the exact panel that we have, connect to all of the current infrastructure that's already in place and place the panel.
So Christina, is this panel or is this got any kind of a contract that they, there's maintenance on it on an annual basis or that they check it out or?
Yeah, so we, previous to this year, we, had a contract with Interstate Electrical. It was previously Blend, so they became Interstate Electrical and we went out to bid for a new fire safety contractor. So now we're currently in a 5-year agreement with AFA. And we have a maintenance agreement with them and a yearly inspection agreement with them. So they take like all of our, so they monitor all of our panels. They monitor all of our buildings. We have a monitoring agreement with them. They handle our sprinkler systems, our fire extinguishers, and all of our fire panels. They perform inspections on those based on what the requirement is through the state. So some of them are yearly, some of them are semi-annual, and some of them are quarterly.
So, but if these connections are junk, did the previous company not perform an inspection that could have uncovered that before this failed? I mean, we don't wanna be Alaska Airways, you know?
Right, well, and so that, I think that's where we're at now. We found quite a few issues when AFA first came in and did their full inspection of all of our town buildings. And what we're trying to do is make sure that everything at this point is where it should be. I think that the product that we are receiving with them is definitely better than the product that we had before. And I think that they're extremely thorough. And I think that they're uncovering things that may have been a problem in the past.
Diplomatically put, okay. Yeah, I have a motion, or does anybody else have any questions? Sheila, is anything
I'm good.
you wanted to say about the water and sewer? I see that you've joined us, hi. Sheila, how you doing?
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, you had a storm.
Yes, and we've got another one coming. So I'm sorry, I logged in a little late, so I don't know if Christina, I heard talk about a generator, so I don't know if Christina already talked about.
Generator, you're getting a generator.
Okay, that's for the repairs to the portable?
Yep, yep.
Okay, so
So
yeah,
I just didn't want you to think you were being ignored, so.
okay, yeah, so we could have used that yesterday, actually, because we're probably gonna run into problems tomorrow. But
Oh, well, hopefully not. But
okay,
you do have the, it is approved, so hopefully we can get it delivered pretty quick. Okay,
excellent. Thank you.
no worries, Sheila.
Move to approve, oh, there we go, get your mouth wrapped around that. The notification circuit in the Percy Walker pool in the amount of $6,498.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Matt? Aye. Friend?
Aye.
Aye, JR.
JR, aye. Betsy, aye.
Kathleen, aye.
Okay, Sean?
Aye.
Al?
Voted yes, sorry.
Voted
my
yes.
husband, yeah, he said.
Okay, perfect, thank you. All right. Done. I will sign these and give them to you, Rainey, so you can give those to Mary for tomorrow. All right, thanks, All right,
Just for-
Christina,
Just for our notification, this reduces 180,000 reserve fund down to 92. $46.70.
Right, it does, and I talked to Mary about that, and, you know, not optimal, but, you know, we're halfway through the year and we're halfway through the fund, so, hopefully that will stay the same until town meeting, and if not, we might be knocking on the door for the special to get a transfer if we're running out, but, you know, that's assuming there's money to transfer in. So there's that.
Christina can hear.
I know, Christine, I want to ask you just one more question. We had asked you when you were here, that you were going to be investigating, a survey for, all the buildings to take a look at, you know, what condition they're in, repairs that might be coming up, to kind of get our arms around the deferred maintenance. We're gonna be meeting with fiscal for CPC on Thursday, and I don't know if that's gonna come up or not, but is that moving along?
In regards to the assessment for all the buildings in town.
Yes.
Yeah, so, I received an initial proposal from
Turn that up.
Aviv Associates for $1 per square foot. I have a call placed in with the Mass Maritime, Director of Facilities, like in their facilities department at Mass Maritime. And I'm waiting a call back from them. They let their, their senior students go out and do facility assessments, for part of their schooling, so I'm seeing if we can do that. And the last one, which is initially the one I brought up from the town of Plymouth, I spoke with 2 people in the town of Plymouth and that entire operations team. So I called the company that directly did the study for them and was routed to Canada, and then routed back to North America and left a voicemail, so I'm waiting back for a call back from them.
Oh, my God.
That's where we stand, but when I called Plymouth, they gave me, that they paid a sum of money in 2019, which is when their study was done, for $38,000, but she thinks that that was only one of the payments that they paid for that. So she was digging up a little bit more information, but apparently since 2019, they've gone through 2 different facilities managers. So now the 3rd one's in place, so he had no idea who did the study or who I should speak to. So I am scraping away at trying to get all of that information.
All right, well, that'd be great. We, you know, I'll hound Rainey.
Yeah, well, no, and I understand signs of the essence, so I'm definitely trying to make sure that we have all of that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, we're gonna be seeing more requests for things that probably would be benefit from that type of information. All right, great. Thanks, kiddo. Have a good one. I'm gonna hang up on you, but you can stay or not stay, you know, whatever you will need to do here. All right?
All right, thank you.
Bye. All right, great. Perfect. All right, so moving on. Rainey. We voted, I don't think there's anything new that we can vote for on the budget. The things that we had to leave on the table are still left as far as I know.
Correct.
So the next thing that we'd be looking for is, the draft for the warrant to see what is on our dance card other than on the budget.
Which
And you had sent that to us.
yeah, I emailed it and you all have hard copies,
Yep.
anybody in the room?
That'd be great.
Well, what I thought I might do is just kind of walk you through it.
Sure, that'd be great.
I'm not gonna really field any questions because we don't have the proponents here and I just, you know,
Nope.
if there's some remedial questions, we can do that, but in terms of, article defense, that's gonna be up to the individuals.
Now, are these numbers in here real numbers
They
or
are
they're
not.
last year's, correct?
That's correct. Only with respect to articles 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, and 7, those are all last year's numbers. I just didn't have time to load them all in. That'll
Okay.
probably happen tomorrow or the next day. And a new version will come out after that, but I wanted to give you something to look at. In terms of the articles and the numbers and where they're gonna fall in the warrant, it's pretty much as you see it now. There may be one additional article, there was a placeholder that I forgot for an article having to do, local option excise tax. But I'll hold that in the mix and I'll have more detail for you on that list, but in the meantime,
Okay.
we can just kind of run through this. So Article
Can
1,
everybody, can everybody hear Rainey?
if not, I can move closer.
Sean, can you hear Rainey?
Excuse me.
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. All right, go ahead.
So, just so you know, Articles 1, 2, and 3 are correct as presented. those are all done. Those are the figures. Those are this year's figures that you see in there, and those are the correct number of people running for office, et cetera.
Okay,
With respect to Article 4, as I mentioned earlier, all of those numbers have to be loaded in, as is the case with Article 5, 6, 7. And that leads us to Article 8, which is actually found on page 28 of your memo.
so, the budget that's in here isn't updated based on our votes?
Not yet, no. With respect to Article 8, there will be, 2 contracts. We put all of them in, we list them all, and they're both police contracts that we have settlement agreements for. And Article 8 will occur not just in the annual town meeting, but also in the special to allow for the retro payment to the vendors.
Do we have some retros already settled?
Yeah, for those 2 police.
The 2 police, that's it? Okay,
Rick, you have a question?
sure.
I'm talking with the omnibus. Were there any holds on any of the budgets?
There were,
Yes.
yeah. I'll call
You
it
would,
half a dozen, maybe 10.
did you email out where we are on that? I
I
think
didn't.
you didn't, maybe Mary did. We can get that.
Yeah, and typically I don't do the next version until I've got that budget fully loaded. Meaning you
Okay,
guys have
okay.
read it. So
Right,
it's funny because, you guys are so far ahead, we've got the budget, which is perfect, as we've done for the last few years, the budget was done before Christmas, which is a delight for me, it makes it really easy. So now I wait for fiscal advisory budget, because it used to be, you guys may remember, this would be way out ahead of us, man, where did we go, but,
we're just too good for school here, right?
pretty damn happy with
We're
that,
well-oiled
actually.
machine over here, Ray.
So,
I had promised Mary, but she kept saying, you're meeting so much, you're doing this. I was like, you don't get it. At the end, we've beaten it to death and we can get through voting it so that we can then move ahead.
Right.
So I was happy that was what happened.
Okay.
All right,
so
so
anyways,
keep
Article
moving.
8, there'll be 2 contracts, again, we load all of the, collective bargaining groups in the article, but the motion is where it becomes more refined, and we'll simply call out the 2 groups for whom we're seeking, an appropriation. Article 9, electronic balloting, all the way up until Article 12, these articles are all boilerplate, they're standard every year. So this is electronic balloting, that lets us do our thing.
And the beach lease is $1 million?
Yeah, and that number is correct on Article 10. In fact, you'll notice in there that it says $1 million, and that is correct, which is the same figure that it was last year. 4th of July appropriation is Article number 11. I think that dollar amounts around 25,000.
We bumped it last year, I think.
Yeah, it's the same as whatever.
Same
it
as
was
last year.
Yep. Again, we don't include numbers in the articles, those are all
Right.
in motions, because it allows for greater flexibility should something happen. Article 12 is the educational cable and access technology article, again, that's an annual. Article recurring. Here's where the new stuff comes in. Article 13 is the Northfield Country Club management lease. So the lease has already been, we went out to bid for a new lease, and the winner was Johnson Galt. And as part of that, when we went to bid it, we did not just the initial contract, but we had said to the successful proposer that we wanted to include an optional 3-year extension on the back end of it, which is good for them and for us. So this, to go beyond 3 years for a contract, the statute allows us to do a 3-year contract. To go anything beyond that requires town meeting approval. So this is what we're doing. We're asking the voters at town meeting to consider an additional 3-year contract, even though the contract term hasn't expired, but they've been with us now for the last 8 years, and it's been pretty successful. And it would be, that arrangement would continue in the future. Article 14 is a PFAS prioritization plan. The select board has recently asked members of the Water and Sewer Advisory Board and other folks in the community who are being spearheaded by Candace Martin to help come up with an overall scheme for PFAS remediation. This is part of that. This prioritization plan comes in at 600, they have an estimate of $610,000 to do that.
Wait a minute, didn't we just pay somebody to tell us the order of worship on this?
Yeah, that was Ryan Trahan. He's an engineer with,
So is this a
Environmental
means of funding the plan that they delivered to us?
yeah, this is one of those steps. Again, I can't get into it, not for
Okay, I'm
lack of,
sorry.
not for lack of want, but they have more information that they're gonna come in and present these. to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do.
And the engineer that did this, the plan too, right? Or no?
No, it wouldn't be Ryan coming in. It would be, the water and sewer advisory.
The
board.
remediation company, right?
Yeah,
They're gonna do
the group-
PFAS.
There's a lot of things going on with PFAS. Right now, we have a company called, Wright Pierce that are under contract with us for about $78,000. They're looking at, over on,
Partridge?
yes, thank you. They're looking at the Partridge well for us just as because there were some things that could apply to the Partridge well that may apply universally to all of our other wells. So they're moving forward with that in terms of looking at the sort of preliminary study on how to best address it. And they'll do that and wrap that up. And then these two will come in behind that.
So this would be funded then from the water and sewer, from their enterprise
I
fund?
don't know the funding source. I'm thinking this is raise and appropriate. 610,000. I'm not sure because nice way to dovetail into Article 15. That's the mitigation design. Again, I can't get too deep into these because I haven't been going to those meetings. They handle them and they send us the minutes. That's $1 million.
Jesus, Mary and Saint.
Well, the whole price tag on this was originally estimated, we're talking tens of millions of dollars.
And I guess the reason I think that I'm focusing on it is, we've had pipes blowing all over town.
Of course, yeah.
And, there's only so much money to.
And those were obviously different circumstances. They were, ancient ductile iron. Some of which have been replaced, some of which are being replaced. So that, anyways, this is just related to the PFAS stuff. So they will be coming in. It might be best to have them come in kind of early.
So do we still have a water and sewer advisory board?
We do.
So would they,
And they're working with them. on
would they be coming in?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any, all right, well, I'll let it go. Yeah, I saw it.
You will have questions.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I think have them come in early would be good, because it will, the conversation will certainly generate a lot of questions, and then we'll
Yep.
likely be following. The next one. Easiest way to show you is to flip the page and take a look at page 32. That little square is a picture of, you can see Town Hall down the bottom. Up toward the top, you see Tremont Street to the right. Up toward the top, you see an easement area that we'd like to acquire from Mr. Zanetti, who is our neighbor to the north, the Town Hall. What that little arc is in there is the existing driveway.
That's DPW.
Absolutely. As part of the overall DPW project, what we want to do is correct this. For finally actually own that.
So that driveway's been on his land all these years?
Forever. Yes.
Don't we have a right
And he's
of
been very kind, about it. He's a gracious neighbor. And we're grateful to him for that, but we thought it would be best to try and perfect this now. This is the project.
He's okay with that?
We're gonna find out. But actually, Jim Wazalewski has been talking with him. We're offering him a license agreement to allow it to happen between, say, today and the time of town meeting. And of course, there will be money associated with this because it isn't free. That's understandable. So we've got an appraisal out there that Sheila's performing through a company. We'll figure out what the dollar amount is, so we'll find an agreement, and hopefully he'll go along.
Good.
The next one, Article 17 is the transfer of town-owned properties under the control of the Select Board and the Conservation Commission. This article as well will have a little map, but we just don't have it yet.
Is this the land, the Waiting Hill land? The land adjacent to the golf course?
Portions of it, yes. It's not from what I understand, it's not the full property. Let's say the full property is like 68 acres. I think this is 40 something acres in total. It's not the full amount, but it is a good portion of it.
Wasn't this the originally, zone recreation?
It is zoned recreation, passive respiration.
Yeah, for passive recreation activities.
That's when it was bought and that was the use, and now, is this, so it would be, the Conservation Committee wants to put it in conservation. So that it can never be used for anything other than that.
That is what it would seem. And again, they'll come in along with the CPC, because they kind of go hand in hand, to discuss this with you in further detail. Again, I don't have the map yet. Nancy was generating that for me, and that will be included in here also.
Okay. I had thought that
Yeah,
that,
I just wanted to get a little of of the history of that shoe, because.
Yes, you have a taste of it in the explanation.
Okay,
but,
great, thank you.
But, as Betsy said, there's sort of a storied past with that goes all the way back to the days of creating the actual golf course itself. And the possibility of further expansion in this had been, portions of this property, if not the larger property, had been, looked at for. the
but
addition
when
of
we
another
bought
9
the
holes.
property at town meeting, it was bought for the purposes of passive recreation. It was not bought as conservation.
Yes, and I know that, the cemetery trustees have had an interest in a portion of it. If you looked at it on a map, what would be the southernmost portion, because it would still be accessible through the backside of town hall, believe it or not, some way. Or
Mhm.
somewhere over there, maybe up at the end of Harrison Street, but anyway, to have another cemetery area. So that was,
Okay,
that's
okay.
all part of the discussion, and I'm sure members of the cemetery
Okay.
commission would want to be.
I was just surprised because I thought that they had decided to table that.
Yeah, it had been discussed at a meeting, and actually, I think you were there. And, I didn't know where it was headed, but here's where it's going.
Okay.
Article 18, this is, I'd like to say it's a housekeeping article, it kind of is, kind of isn't. So it's accepting a provision in Mass General Law, for the town, to adopt that provision so that we can, well, actually says, to allow trust funds held in the custody of the town to be invested under the standards of the Massachusetts Prudent Investor Act, chapter 203C. So the local option statute was passed as part of the FY 24 state budget authorization. It enables municipal treasurers to apply the prudent investor rule to optimize returns on trust fund monies as defined by Mass General Law. Municipal treasurers are charged to balance safety, liquidity, and yield when investing public funds. This statute will allow the town to better construct portfolios with a wider selection of investments to meet these goals when investing trust fund.
Well, so then that would be under a different law than what we have to do with all of the other money that we've got, which is limited by statute.
Yes,
So
Just gives you
are
greater
these,
flexibility.
and these are currently invested now?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this is just to accept some statute that will allow us to continue to do what we're doing.
Yes, and give us greater flexibility should we see a better option.
Okay.
Let's see, Article 19 is a general bylaw amendment.
Yeah.
This is the proposed removal of the revolving fund. So if you were to look at the general bylaws, you would actually find this little matrix. And down there at the very bottom, you see the regional dispatch services. The proposal here is to remove that because at the annual town meeting held on August 1st of 2020, the voters approved an article which authorized the board to petition the legislature for a home rule petition, authorizing the town to establish an enterprise fund for the Rock. That legislation is approved, and the Rock now operates as an enterprise fund, which negates the need to keep the regional dispatch services revolving fund. Approval of the article will remove this fund from the aforementioned matrix. So basically, another house country.
Right. I think we knew this when we did this last year, that it was coming out.
Yeah, we did. Article 20. You may remember, last year there was discussion of adding 2, 3, or 4 town-owned properties to the local historic district. And the question came about, well, why do they need that that level of review when, in fact, I think many of us would agree that any town property, if it's gonna have any kind of alteration or renovation, is gonna go through perhaps a lengthier process than what you would find with a single family home. To wit, if I were to change the siding at town hall, it isn't something I just run out and sign a bill to do it. I need to have the money to do that. To find that money, I'm gonna go to town meeting to do that. And before I go to town meeting, I'm gonna go to the board and see if they like an article to do this. And then guess what? That article is gonna get reviewed at the finance committee level. Concurrent to that, it could be easily passed through the local historic district commission so that it would have all kinds of review before anybody did anything to touch anything. So the local historic district commission agrees with that concept. And so what they have proposed, and I just drafted this today, so council's still reviewing it and they're gonna give me their feedback as well. There would be an amendment to the general bylaws, adding a new section, which would state that for repairs or replacement of existing features on the exterior of a town-owned property within a district, Composite materials may be used to repair the facade of the building, and trim work shall match the existing trim. Town will notify the Duxbury Local Historic District Commission within 2 weeks of the expected start date. The town will photograph the existing elements to be repaired and replaced, and those images will be provided to the commission. The town will match the detail being repaired or replaced. Repairs may commence without a meeting with the commission or the issuance of a certificate of
So
approval.
this is the exact same thing, only it's in a different party dress.
It isn't, because we no longer, we are not required to get the certificate of appropriateness, as there is no waiting period, we can simply go and do it, all they wanna do is be told that it's being done.
So this is, last year was the library, right?
Oh,
They were-
but wait, never mind the properties yet, I just want you to,
Okay,
this article simply would authorize this language to occur, it would allow it to be folded into the local historic district bylaw language in the general law.
But this
Basically,
isn't just that simple, because
it's a
there's
town-
rules.
What it's doing is, and the rules are minute, you know, you've been through the process. I think, well, actually, I don't know if your property's, if you're.
You know,
in that.
no, I did the
But-
whole deal, which was fine.
So this basically is what we would call a town exemption. It essentially exempts the town in large part
But-
from any of the elements you had to go through.
Right, but we still go back to who is going to provide this extra legwork. Yeah, just, I've been through it.
The legwork is simply photographs of what's being done.
It is definitely more than that.
It isn't, because there it is. It's
Yeah,
absolutely.
there it is. So you
That's
have
all it
to
is.
provide that the facade, used to the facade, the trim will match. You have to demonstrate that it's gonna match. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Mhm.
I'm just saying there aren't people on our staff now that are going to be able to find that to be able to come, because this is pretty much what I had to do things on a historic home.
Well, this to me, I thought was a terrific compromise. In fact, it was offered by them to us. I think it would fly. Basically, if you want to change the siding on Town Hall and essentially go away from, the wood clapboard,
Of course.
it would allow you to move into cementitious siding, as long as it looks post.
All of it is, that is great, but you're gonna go back to these actual buildings.
Mhm.
And, Alden is what I'm thinking of. And,
But that's not being included in the district. So let's move on to the next one. So
All right, fine.
there's this to talk
So
about.
that's where I was getting confused. This is tied to the next article as well,
Yeah, you can't,
which is where we really had our debate last year about what buildings you were going to put into a district.
exactly, and you
and
can't.
whether we should put town
Exactly,
buildings in the
Exactly.
district.
So
So it's like the carts before the horse.
no, it isn't, because before you allow the buildings, you gotta have the language that would.
Allow you to
what it
do the
is you wanna
building.
do. So that,
I guess the proponent of this language is the town or the historic commission?
it's the local historic
The
district.
commission's proposal.
Yeah.
Are you looking at this as a benefit to the town
No,
or a
Uh,
benefit to the historic commission?
I don't know, I look at it as rather benign, and the reason I say that is because
oh, I could turn this into a bad one act, right?
I know you could. You
Yeah.
could do that with
Anybody
all of
could
them,
in the
but so
future.
could I. I'm trying to find the silver line. I think if this, there really isn't a lot involved here. It doesn't require a certificate of appropriateness. When you look at what is actually required, make it look the same and take
So
some.
right
pictures.
now, we have no town-owned properties that are in a historic district.
Correct, that's correct.
So,
So this
so
basically,
that is
So before
totally
you add them-
unnecessary
Before you add
unless
them,
you put them in.
you've got to have what would be the enabling statute before you land them in the before you land the properties into the district.
Wow, okay.
So,
This will make for an interesting debate.
It will,
That's
it
not
will.
sit hung up on it tonight.
Go
I
ahead.
get it.
No,
This
You're
is-
just scared of it. I get it.
if the purpose of these articles to reduce administrative
Burden,
burden
yes.
and also allow us to use composite materials or not go out and, do red cedar clapboards on a town hall, you can use a fine, whatever, right? Okay, I think, I do understand the language piece of it, moving town property into historic districts may be a little bit more controversial.
It could be.
it,
But let me say something, though, because you just made a great point. This would allow you to do that, going from cedar to cement, cementitious.
But-
The interesting thing is, we can do that right now.
I was gonna say, because we're not in a historical district.
Precisely.
And
Right,
what
so-
this is doing, the first article is greasing the skids for the second article.
yeah,
Well.
But I don't know why we're
As
reaching
you know,
the
statutorily,
kids.
it's called enabling legislation. You have to have
Because-
enabling
because-
legislation before
All
you
right,
can do
where you
anything.
started this conversation is
I get it.
This
you,
kid
you have, they have to pay for it, so they have to approve it. So adding another layer of bureaucracy on top of that,
Doesn't make sense.
it doesn't make any sense.
I absolutely understand your perspective.
And then,
I'm just here to
Page
show
2.
you, I'm here to show you what the proposal is. Now, the local historic district commission still has to agree to this language, because they had given me a sketch of something, sort of an abstract of something, in September. So I had to put it into an article form, and this has been thrown to them, and they'll react to it and see if they like it or not. So there's that.
Is it only
If everybody wants to move forward with it, this is what it would look like. Again, it's a further discussion that you'll have.
Town meeting has to approve.
so the right building is included in Article 21?
And thank you, yes, so now we move on to Article 21, which would add two properties, one being the right building and the other, if you flip the page to, page 36, it would also be, what do you have at the top, the, fire station at the Bluefish Road.
The fire station where?
At the Bluefish Road.
Bluefish River. Oh, Bluefish River,
You
the
know,
little White House.
Yeah, yeah.
but doesn't the Wright building already have more restrictions on it than Heinz has Pickles? When we renovated the Wright building, there was and rightfully so, there would be to protect that building. There was a slew of restrictions on that building.
Could be.
No, there is. Girl Scouts on
You
it.
just asked me and then you told me.
Yes, it is.
You're arguing with the
It
wrong
was-
guy.
I was telling it,
I mean, it's on the plaque.
I was
It's
leading
on the
you,
building.
I'm leading you, Ray,
I'm
come
not-
along.
All right,
I don't know.
We gotta-
She does.
we got something to work on.
I believe.
Yeah, all right, I'll stop, It just,
Article
I
22.
hate
But these
to
are
repeat
interesting
twice.
things for the local historic district commission to.
Yeah,
figure out.
yeah. Swell, okay.
Article 22, town of Duxbury supported on offsite storage for spent nuclear fuel. This actually, an article similar to this went to the voters at town meeting, was it last year or the year before? Again, offered by the Duxbury Nuclear Advisory. Committee.
Mary Jim Lampert?
Basically, basically they want this text to go to the world. And that's what the proposal is.
Right, and they presented it to the select board, yes, last week?
Yeah, they did, the 27th-ish or something,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean.
Oh, Cooper Hill Road.
Yes, Article 23, proposed acceptance of Cooper Hill Road as a town way. Cooper Hill Road lies off of Alden Street on the left-hand side, if you're headed to the
Yeah.
library. Article 24, the proposed relocation of the layout of Washington Street.
Pardon me?
The verbiage of this language, the verbiage of this article may change. Council may have to finesse it some, but this would allow us to, just for lack of a better term, align Washington Street more correctly to actually sit where the real meets and bounds are, the circle.
So we're gonna move the street?
Well, on paper.
So
This
does
is,
that
this
mean
is
that,
part of the overall sidewalk function.
so as I go down and look at all the little sticks with the pink flags, I see trees, I see million different stone walls, I see fences, front, all these things that are now on town property.
We call them amenities.
Is there money?
So if that stone wall needs to get fixed, who pays for it? If it's town land, it's town wall. We've been down this path before with town walls.
What an interesting.
Do we have dollars associated with this?
Well-
When they come to present the article, are they going to give us a estimation of what the meets and bounds?
I don't have a dollar amount on this.
Well,
What?
it's not the dollar amount of changing the meets and bounds, the dollar amount. Well, they've already done the survey.
You're right,
It's-
Betsy,
it's-
it's not the dollar amount now.
No, it's the dollar amount with
The dollar amount for the construction.
and if the stone wall falls over or is removed or
Because
is
there have
needs a
been instances in
repair.
the past, when, Peter was here, where if there was work that needed to be done in the right of way, and the right of way just happened to go halfway up your front lawn, and you had a stone wall and sprinkler irrigation, all that stuff, we would do the work that needed to be done, and we would take that stuff out and we would pay to put it back.
Yeah,
So
So this, but that was site specific, and that wasn't a lot of times. That
this
was,
would be the whole street.
that would be like once a year, maybe, or one every couple of years. I mean, I can name 3 instances since I've been here in 10 years where we actually had to do that, and it worked out beautifully. But this is a little lengthier run, it's about 3.5 miles.
is this a prerequisite for the sidewalks to be built?
Yes.
Yes, of which the street is
So-
not wide enough to accommodate.
Again, I just want you to reflect.
Yeah.
No,
No, I
Perhaps internally.
So each one of these needs a separate night.
Okay,
Essentially,
Because it won't, it won't be fair to the next proponent that's coming in after we've beaten up one. It won't be fair to the next one to come in, because we're not gonna be in a joyous mood.
no, we're not. I'm not
So-
joining now.
I think we ought to plan ahead enough to know that we should only tackle one of these a night.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's just, and you know,
Just see, I wish everybody were here to see the physicality of what you're going through. You're actually twisting and contorting. You're about to turn yourself inside out.
well, it's just,
So it
I
is.
can't believe that we continue to discuss spending money on things that are impossible when
Or
we need
unnecessary.
money to spend on things that are imperative.
But
It
you
makes
know,
me nuts.
planning study, and one thing everybody wanted was sidewalks. Everybody wanted.
Oh, no, we didn't want sidewalks.
So the road isn't wide enough. Of course, we want sidewalks. If we had a road that was not built in 1803, we might have gotten them,
Let's
but
move on.
as it is.
Let's move on.
Jesus.
We'll save that for the night for those.
All right, I
That's what I'm
will
saying.
come next.
These are a couple of cookies.
I guess you
Count on a lot of that.
all I wanted to understand was if it's a prerequisite of, if it's.
Yes, it is.
Move on.
Ding, yep, it is.
Okay, so, believe it or not, we're getting to the end. So the next grouping is the CCC, the operating fund, which is in
Allocations, yeah.
recurring, and then the allocations with another recurring one. Then for Article 27, found on page 39, that's the conservation fund. The article would replenish the conservation fund and then use it for open space and land acquisition and the costs associated with the land management.
Rehabilitation of the Girl
Girl
Scout
Scout house, yeah. So the town of Duxbury proposes to rehab portions of the historic Girl Scout house and improve accessibility.
Can I ask a question? Why do we continue to call it the Girl Scout house when it is not owned by the Girl Scouts? Wouldn't you put an address in instead?
It's,
It's a
I
landmark.
think it's simply because of the emblem out front.
Yeah, it's a landmark.
And everybody knows it is that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just being,
You wanna change.
I'm just
the
being
name.
cranky tonight.
You are being
I'm on a diet.
Well, something else, are you January dry too?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
we're seeing a need here.
Carbs and booze.
So, a question,
Please.
and this is probably down the road, but will recreation move out of the Girl Scout house when we have the DPW facility completed?
The possibility is very real. It would
If,
actually-
Okay,
Most likely, they would
Yeah,
either, yes, the possibility of them moving out of there. is very real.
okay.
they like
I'm not,
big-
I won't continue
The
this
the
conversation.
location is yet to be determined.
Right, understood.
Right now, they're very
Somebody
comfortable
else
with the
could.
Girl Scout house.
That's sweet someplace.
well, actually, yeah, they do like the Girl
Yeah.
Scout house.
They do, actually, and it works well since.
Because of the location,
management
to the
is kinda-
beach.
Kind of key, right now.
And he has place to put all the little,
Toys.
the ATVs.
Yeah.
Town clock.
Yeah, so Article 29, rehabbing the town clock at Pilgrim Convent. I didn't know this until I saw this article, that the annual town meeting of March 6, 1905, almost 100 years ago. The voters accepted the gift of the town clock from the Ellison family and to provide for its care. The clock is situated just below the belfry of the Pilgrim Congregational Church on Washington Street and is comprised of 4 faces. This article would fund the restoration of all 4 faces and units.
Do we own the clock?
We do.
Wow.
It's the gift that keeps on.
We have got to stop taking gifts,
It's
kids.
kind of like the pool.
We have got to stop. When somebody says, here, you can have this, say no.
Well, what's interesting about the clocks is that, you know, the people that work on these clocks are dying out. There aren't many
You're right.
artisans,
Yeah,
right?
you better get it fixed before we.
Yeah. When was
Get a
the last-
warranty on that
When
sucker.
was the last time you met somebody that was a steeplejack? For me, it was 25 years
Yeah.
ago, and it was a church in Williston, Vermont, and I hadn't met one since.
There's one
Working
in
today.
Hanover.
I think
Is it?
one face
Yeah,
of it is. I think
behind
one
the
face
CVS
does,
at
and only one
53
face-
and-
What, watch today?
What page,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, I need you to watch.
Yeah,
That's the other
the
time where
other
that
three.
is. I'll tell you. what.
Yeah.
Okay,
Interesting.
clock picture.
Article 30 is transferring the funds to the CPC Affordable Housing Trust. And the explanation here is the Isaac Simmons farm was sold, including approximately 1 acre of land. It was originally purchased for community or affordable housing. It was determined that this parcel was not suitable for that purpose. And this article proposes to transfer funds from the Community Preservation Fund to the CPA Affordable Housing Reserve.
Wait, explain this
Give it
again.
back.
The
That
Isaac
makes
Simmons
sense.
farm was sold, including approximately
Well,
1
this
acre.
has nothing to do with Polly Harrington's property.
No.
It's across the street from Polly Harrington's property.
No, this is, I believe this is the Isaac
This
Simmons
is.
farm.
It isn't Polly's house?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted,
Yeah.
because there was another house that sold in that area,
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. Go ahead. You answered the
so you've
question.
got including approximately 1 acre of land that was originally purchased for community or affordable housing. It was determined that this parcel was not suitable for that purpose, and this article proposes to transfer funds from the Community Preservation Fund to the CPA Affordable Housing Reserve.
Wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense.
I didn't write it, I don't know. And again, it may be
So
further.
they used affordable housing to buy that acre of
They,
land.
they used everything but their green stamps to buy that property.
Green stamps, wow, I didn't
Let-
know.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
They borrowed or they took the money from affordable housing to buy a portion of
Yes,
that property.
yes.
Affordable housing can't use that property because it's unfit to build on.
Oh,
So we're gonna, we're not gonna make them pay for it if they can't use it, so the CPC is gonna switch the money around. There's no money spent, it's just changing locations.
Looking for another parcel. Potentially.
That's another whole issue.
Hopefully.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's another whole issue. Okay,
the Simmons was sold, it says that it was sold.
It was sold.
It was,
Okay.
but
And 1 acre of
but there
that,
was a part of it that was gonna be reserved for affordable housing. Because it didn't.
Yeah.
This land was so far.
Oh, it was wet or something,
Huh?
wet or something, yeah, okay.
Okay,
But they still own it,
Who's that?
the trust.
I believe so. Actually, I don't know. I don't know.
So if they own it,
we'll find out
We're
when they
gonna find
come.
out together.
oh, good, it's gonna be so much fun, JR.
Yes.
We'll find out together and by God.
Did they sell it to a third party?
Well, no, we'll find out Thursday, stay tuned.
Oh, I might have to
So
go
the
home
reason-
early.
Okay, aren't you sad now?
No, I'm gonna come home. I would rather be here than selling boats in Boston.
Was that this weekend?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Article 31, open space and recreation plan. This will update Duxbury's open space and recreation plan, which allows our community to assess our open spaces and recreation facilities and establish goals to protect and improve these assets. The plans must be updated every 7 years and submitted to the Mass DCS, which establishes eligibility for state grants. Funds will be used to engage in services of the full column of funds. And finally, Article 32 is a proposal to rescind Article 16 from the March 2023 annual town meeting, which established the Climate Action Planning Task Force. At the March 23 annual town meeting, the voters approved an article brought forward by the Alternative Energy Committee to create a Climate Action Planning Task Force. Since that time, the members of the AEC have found that the goals of the proposed task force can be addressed by the AEC and other existing groups within Duxbury, and as a result, the formation of the Climate Action Planning Task Force is not.
Okay,
And there you have it, 32 articles. We'll probably do about 10 or 12 in the special. I don't have them all done yet. That's next. So that's the next thing I do. After I load the numbers in on this. There you go.
fun, good times.
I don't have it tonight, because I just still making notes. I will have one of these things for you, the one-liners, and I'll get that out to everybody once they got it all loaded in. I just needed to add the proponents and who the people are for context.
Will you email that to us?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Once
Okay.
it's all loaded in, I needed to plug a couple dollar amounts in there just so you can have that. So it'll tell you, like, you know, who the presenter or the proponent is, and then we'll schedule dates and all this. So you had mentioned Thursday, Betsy. What did you guys want to try and do?
Thursday is, we have, a joint meeting with, fiscal advisory, and they're reviewing all the CPC articles.
Oh,
Plus,
good.
yeah,
Is that under your roof or theirs? Or is it joint?
Joint.
Okay,
joint, I think it's here, it might be downstairs.
okay. So you'll be, oh, that's good, that's very timely then, good, I'm glad you shared.
So then
Glad we got this
CPC
out
will-
today. Damn, very helpful. What do you mean, 2 days ahead? Okay, so
Yeah,
now you know what you're looking at.
right, so that could be fun.
Yeah, so what specifically what you'll be looking at is Articles 25 through 31. And then also Article 17.
Right, and yes, and we don't ever get the numbers for the first three on the 10% allocations till closer to, unless we already know what we've gotten.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. 'Cause it's-
I mean, those are kind of boilerplate, those numbers just kind of,
Not anymore.
17 isn't CPC.
it's not just divided 10.
Oh, no, that, yes, I
Yeah.
thought you meant the actual dollars, because it went from, as you know, 1 to 3%.
No, did it already, or is that next year, or is it this year?
I gave notice, back in, just before Christmas, that people would be seeing that on their tax bills.
But I thought that was gonna be for the tax bill for next August.
It's the tax bill this year. It is. I got my tax.
Right now,
Oh, did it? So that's why some of the assessments changed.
yeah.
Okay,
That's it.
all right, cool.
Fran, you just said something, but what was it? Does it remind me?
17 is not CPC.
What? No, you-
17 is the Conservation Commission,
Yes,
distinctly separate from the CPC.
yeah. Oh, you want them separate?
Well, it's not the same necessary group. Well, some of the people overlap.
Yeah, there's a couple.
But the interests of the CPC are not the same as what the Conservation Commission.
Yeah, true.
They may or may not,
I-
that's up to- if they bring it, but I'm saying they may not bring it.
Yeah, that's fine. The reason I asked, it's kind of silly, but, for my edification, when I asked for the CPC articles and the conservation articles, I only asked one person, that's Nancy Wood. Because she covers both. So that's why I blended them together. But you have them split, and I see why. So that's fine.
Alan just sent a message, but it went off the screen. It was something about, I wish we had a chance to discuss this. I don't,
You will.
no, I know.
Hey, Sean, can you read what Al just said to us? Oh, wait a sec.
Can you do it?
Can you do it?
Yes, of course
Take that chat.
Hold on, we're trying.
Oh, here I thought I could be useful.
Yeah.
Oh, keep the hope alive, buddy.
Can you read it? Can you read it out loud?
So, yeah, hold on just a second. Let me
It
advance it.
says, sorry, but I have no understanding, but,
So let's go to the top.
okay.
Oh,
So this makes sense and appropriation is recommended for such a quiet, caring citizen. Composite materials, okay, I'm speaking to the souls of our beginnings. I expect I would not know their mind, yet I would expect their spirit. Given their native intelligence, which helped them survive year by year, I would expect they might approve. As noted, I'm only speculating. Sorry, comment on Article 20, which helps. No, I have no understanding of Article 31. We will after we discuss it. Wish we could have discussed this. My laptop does not allow me to access video or microphone on Zoom. I'm sorry if that is my mistake. Don't worry, Al, we'll get it straightened out.
I think he might have thought we.
Voted on
We didn't
something.
vote
We haven't
anything.
voted anything.
We didn't vote any of this stuff. Al. So
We still got plenty of time, buddy.
I am the problem. No, I think that the crowd is pretty much determined I'm the problem tonight, Al. You cannot have that honor.
Tonight?
All right.
Okay, perfect. All right, good. What else was on the
Betsy-
agenda?
I'm sorry, Betsy. May I
Hi.
ask a question? Mary gave me the impression that we were assigning committee members to the articles.
Right,
Tonight?
You could. Betsy's still reeling from the shock.
I give her, we don't want, we don't.
we don't want me to have any of,
Do we want to think about it?
why
Yeah,
don't
I'd
we,
like to think about it.
why don't we think about it? Where I'm happy to announce that I think we have a new member joining us. Hopefully for the second half of the year, so why don't we wait till they get set up and then we can do the assignment then, because, give them a shot. I
Okay.
haven't seen as well,
Very good.
okay?
Yes, thank you.
I'll go pick my favorites out.
And nobody wants me on any articles, so that's good too. My job here is done, so.
Okay.
All right,
I'll take the first 10.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, that is the move, man. That really is. The first 12.
Automatic.
Okay, okay. I think that's it, right? Do we have anything
Oh,
else?
I will pass this out, and forgive me for the viewing audience, I don't have the information, I told you there was gonna be another article, I had a list of probably a dozen placeholders, and one of them was an idea that Brian Glennon had mentioned at a board meeting on, the local excise tax for, local room occupancy. I have the framework of an article, but I don't have.
Say that again?
I'm gonna let this DLS thing say it instead. It's a proposal they want to consider. Given the anticipation that we could have an override next year. It's
This year?
not this year.
Next
so-
year.
sorry.
Next year.
What year is it? It's something we're gonna discuss.
This free mind is not good.
Basically, it's an option that the town could adopt to tax.
So that's-
Airbnbs, just a simple word.
So that,
Airbnbs?
no, so
Bring those
that's
back?
interesting because it's not allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
How
go on
can
the
we
DLS
tax-
website right now, you'll find 66 properties that are actually registered with the state. That are doing it.
Right, so.
No,
we got-
and most of those are down in Ocean.
No, you'd be surprised.
No, I'm not.
We looked it up.
The
we looked it up.
attorney
It
for
isn't,
the,
it isn't just on the water. They're everywhere.
oh, it's the, I haven't got
And it's
this.
short-term rental.
Yeah.
And so we gotta either close them all down or change the law.
Or tax.
Exactly, we have to
That's the
address it
theory.
one way or the
But
other.
we can't
What do you
tax
do?
them until we have
Because
a law.
enforcement's tough. Enforcement's hard.
Oh, I know,
And you can't tax them until you adopt this.
that's right.
And what is
And we
this,
can't
So
tax.
what is this,
it's-
does this allow them? Yeah.
It allows you to tax them. Now, whether they're allowed or not in the zoning bylaws, is a different thing.
That's the
There is
issue.
a strange.
You cannot pay for this kind of entertainment. I've said this
It's
before.
it's a strange arrangement, allowed, they do exist, and we can tax them even though they're not allowed.
No,
I don't know. That's the thing. In fact, Brian and I and Scott had an email exchange on this. This is so, it's hard to figure out how to enter the conversation because, you had the special town meeting that we had,
Yes,
10,000
oh, we
people there
remember that, yes.
saying, no, we don't want this, yet we know now we can prove that they exist. Now that we know that they exist, we're gonna tax them, but nobody wants them. So what do you do? Where do you start on that? But I think it's a fascinating conversation.
I
How it all
think it
plays
is,
out, I
too.
don't know, but there's a chance that money could be made off of it. But by doing that,
That's something we don't want.
exactly. Let's
Sounds like
tax
the
the heck out of
the
this
city's
thing that we
tax
don't want to
Allowing
acknowledge.
marijuana to be sold so we can tax them 40%.
This is the dilemma that all resort town cities, New York City, Buenos Aires, I mean, all over the world, right? This is something that is actually driving neighbors out of their own neighborhoods because of these short-term rentals. So it gets this kind of
Interesting.
wave effect, this ripple effect.
well,
right?
and then when you move from the short-term rental, you still have, and this may be a different issue, but you still have two, what do you want to call them, domiciles, or whatever you want to call them, but on a single lot,
On a single lot,
It's a
yeah.
whole nother zoning problem.
which is, but it's not the same zoning problem,
No, it's a different one.
because they're on,
I
they're in
thought
one
we
house.
passed a bylaw at town meeting to ban this in the future. Two domiciles on one lot.
Yes.
I see them going up in town.
And the definition is really funny.
Yeah,
I think it's someone would figure out a way to get
You
around. it.
can't.
Well, you
put a
can't
stove.
ban them
That's
because
it.
there are 109s in town.
You can't put a stove, well,
Don't put a stove in.
that's crazy.
Yeah, look at Cape Cod, right? So you have to kind of look at it.
It's, a microwave and a toaster oven will do everything you want to do today,
Mhm.
and then throw in an air fryer, you're living high.
Yeah. I think you could get like some of those used containers and put them on the boat things and lift them right up in the air.
Ah,
Make kind of a condo thing going.
it's a growth thing.
So
Yeah,
there
condo.
aren't a lot of articles, but boy, are they good.
They're gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
You picked them this
Definitely gonna be a 3-day
Yeah,
town.
I didn't pick these,
Yeah.
dude.
That's gonna be a doozy, that's all. What do you do?
Be interesting.
Betsy,
Cape Cod is full
Have
of.
you seen anything from Alex regarding the pending capital projects he's contemplating approving or recommending?
So they haven't voted anything, they got a late start, he told me, so this was the question that I had, because I thought when they met last week, they had IT and, I don't know, somebody else.
You did, yeah.
but that was them beginning to have people in, not ending.
Wasn't the end.
Right.
So they've got a ways to go, but we can talk to them Thursday night. I mean, they'll all be there.
Yeah, I would just want to have a general sense of
I emailed them today to ask them that very question and,
$1 million.
yeah,
All right, we'll wait and see.
yeah.
All right, so motion to adjourn.
Good times, Thursday night, be there, be square.
6:30, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
I, oh, there he is. All right.